Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to speak to the Kentucky taxpayer today, Mr. Speaker. The 4.5 million Kentucky souls from New Madrid Bend to Black Mountain. I want to talk about just a little bit how we got here today, why we're doing this, and who will it help. In 2016, Kentuckians went to the polls and they decided to chart a new course for themselves. And since then, and we're a poor state. We have many needs, health needs, educational needs, infrastructure needs, and we wanted a new direction. The first thing the new majority did was set about bridling spending, because all common sense Kentuckians know that tax reform, tax reductions without spending controls are dangerous. So, in the language of a chess player, we castled our king first by doing two things. We stopped decades-long budgetary gimmicks. We no longer sweep professional accounts, which were done from our nurses and our architects, that we have done for decades. We no longer do that. Those monies that are paid for those purposes they are left in those accounts. We don't sweep professional accounts. We no longer take money from our kids going to public universities by sweeping lottery funds. We don't do that anymore. The new majority stop that. We no longer take money from our roads and our necessary infrastructure for general funds and legislators' pet projects. Road funds go to roads. Hundreds of millions of dollars used to be swept. We no longer do that. We no longer push a month out of the current year to the next year. We are now on the year. Now, for the taxpayers may not understand that, the fiscal year ends on June the 30th. We used to have the last month to the next year so we could bank some money and have some more spending opportunities for the things that legislators cared about. Budgetary gimmicks were replete in our budget. So the first thing the new majority did under the gentleman from McCracken's leadership was we stopped all budgetary gimmicks. We also put money toward our chronic needs. And I'm saying these things because this is what has enabled us to get here today. We put money toward our chronic needs, and we shored up the underfunding. Pensions hadn't been funded in decades. No one who served in this House, except for the gentleman from Jefferson, 42, I believe. It was not 42, maybe 40. 30, thank you. No one except for the gentleman from Jefferson, 30, had ever voted to fund pensions. When we came in 2017, and every budget since then, we funded pensions. And this is not just millions of dollars, it's billions of dollars. Billions of dollars that are important to shore up the pensions that have been promised to our teachers and to our firefighters and to our policemen and to our secretaries and to the people who work in workforce development, to our county judges and to our mayors. Everybody in Kentucky, we put billions of dollars into pensions, shoring up the underfunding that allowed us to get here today. And that's not just for the state employee, it's also for the taxpayer. Because when we want to build new schools and we want to build new libraries and we want to lay new foundations for roads, you got a bond rating that sets the price. And when your pensions aren't paid, the bond rating goes too high. Bond rating was going down. We've secured our bond rating now. That's what this new majority has done. That's what we promised the people, and that's what we have delivered. We've reduced our percentage of debt of the budget. We no longer bond maintenance on our buildings. We pay cash for that. We put money in apprenticeships. We put our public universities on a performance-based funding model to make sure that they're graduating our people with degrees that they can make and raise a family on. And we did not spend all of the tax revenues that we've received. We've banked those, even after funding our contingency fund account. Now, the gentleman from Todd won't like the words I'm getting ready to use, but our people know that as the rainy day fund. It didn't exist when we took over, and now it's one of the healthiest in the country. We did all those things to bring us to today. We bridled our spending. It wasn't easy. It wasn't glitzy or glamorous. We don't send political ads out saying, hey, we controlled spending. It doesn't get us elected to do those things. It's difficult. It's discipline. It's the right thing to do. And that's what this majority has done for the first time in many decades. So why are we doing this? Why House Bill 8? We are a poor state with many needs. There's not a person here, Democrat or Republican, who doesn't believe that we need more money for the least among us, who doesn't believe that we need to fund our education, who doesn't believe that we need to really control and address in a serious way our mental health issues. My friend from Kenton County, there's not a person in here that doesn't believe we need improvement on our corrections department, not one among us. This is a difference in philosophy. But we cannot tax our way into prosperity. We are a poor state. We don't have enough people to tax to get to prosperity, to lead us to the things that we need. We always hear my good friend from Letcher County talk about the jam jar. We need to put it on the low shelf so the low man can get it. The jam jar is empty. Whether it's on the low shelf or not, it doesn't matter. We don't need to put the jar on the low shelf over and over again. We've been doing it for 100 years. We need more jam in Kentucky. We need more jam. We need to develop more jam in Kentucky, in McCracken County, in Fulton County, in Butler County, and in Pike County. And we need people from India and China and Montana and California to bring their jam to Kentucky. That is what is going to change us. We're not moving it on the shelf. We're building more. We're manufacturing more jam. According to the Nonprofit Tax Foundation, states that have a 0% tax increase grow their populations twice as fast as the national rate. My friend from Kenton asked the question. I want to answer it. I want to say it again. According to the Nonprofit Tax Foundation, states with a 0% tax increase on income grow their populations twice as fast as the national average. Their economies follow. By way of contrast, Kentucky has grown a paltry 21% in its economy and its GDP from 2000 to 2020. That's the third worst in the country, the third worst in our nation. We need more jam. So we started in 2018 with tax reductions. We reduced income tax 14% on the hardworking moms and dads, on the hardworking young people trying to be entrepreneurs. 14% their income tax was reduced. Our businesses were reduced 17%. And today, that went from 5.6 to 5%. And today we seek to go from 5% to 4%, a total of about 30 or 29% reduction if you take this one with that one, with the last one in 2018, with a plan to go with triggers when triggers are hit, revenue triggers, with a plan to go to zero. What does that mean for someone making $32,000 a year who's a nurse in Greenup County? What it means is that she will save, after the two tax reductions that this majority party has enacted, it will mean that she has saved $512 on her state income tax. What does it mean for the person, for the family, the average family, according to the United States Census in 2020, that's making $56,525? It means that that family, raising their kids, sending them to the soccer games and to the baseball fields, making sure that they're equipped and they're dressed for school and for all the things that our children need, that family will save $904 a year. Real money in their pockets, real money for education, real money for the dental bills, real money in our families. This bill is for every Kentucky worker. Whether you're building the best Ford Tough trucks in eastern Jefferson County, or whether you're mining Harlan, Kentucky coal, whether you are that nurse in Greenup, or you're a military family in Christian County, whether you're a man on unemployment or welfare, or whether you're a child who hopes to stay in Kentucky after you finish your education, this bill is for you. This promise is made to you. It is good for all of us. It is good for the immigrants that we want to come to Kentucky, the Californians, the Montanans, and the people across the seas. United, we stand. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to conclude. This morning I took a walk, and I saw what I think is a metaphor. I saw daffodils blooming in early March. I walk from the annex to the Capitol, and the sun is shining. This is a good day. This is the day that I have looked forward to. When I decided to run for office, I wanted to stand at this desk on this bill on this day. All of the difficult work leads us to this day. We've told our people when we ran for office, this is the day that would come. This is what we want to, how we want to lead Kentucky. Our people went to the polls. Our legislature has worked hard for 5 years, getting rid of budgetary gimmicks that leads us to this day. But it's not only a day that we look forward to, it's also a day that we're going to look back upon when we connect finally Perry County with Fayette County, with a direct route. When we build new hospitals all across our rural areas to serve our people. When we finally have the resources to properly fund mental health resources, our schools, and more worker training facilities to prepare our families across the Commonwealth. When Kentuckians that are living in Ohio and Indiana and Tennessee finally come home, this is the day we will look back to. This is the day that made it possible. Last thing I'll say, as I said, the flowers were blooming today. The sun is shining. Today is a good day, a bright day, a day full of purpose. And because of the work that we're doing today, the forecast for the day and many days ahead follows our Commonwealth song, "The Sun Shines Bright on My Old Kentucky Home." Thank you, Mr. Speaker.